Okay, cool.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, so well, good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, you said what we're looking at. I'm looking at Nasdaq and oil, US oil. So if you have the times, you know,
Okay, Nasdaq and US oil. So let's look at Nasdaq first. Nasdaq. I like FXCM. Let me look for FXCM. Or let's go with Nasdaq is NAS 100, correct?
correct. Yeah, that's 100 US tech. Whichever. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, Nasdaq. I like to look at things from the higher time frame. Okay, so last month we closed with this solid bearish engulfing candle. So that speaks volume about what happened last month. So we had more obviously we had more bearish price action last month. So even this bullish momentum that we're looking at that is happening at the moment, price may most likely go bearish at some point. But at what point do we start to see that bearish move? So I would like to narrow things down to the weekly time frame. So this was the highest point that price came to, and now price is headed that way once again. So there's every possibility that price is trying to come back to this point before we see some kind of pullback. Because an ideal pullback should have been this zone, this particular zone right here. That should have been an ideal pullback. So if price had came into this zone, this is the way I look at the market, right? This is the way I trade. So if price had came into this zone or coming into this zone before we started seeing this pullback, then we expect the bullish run to continue. But for the fact that price didn't come into any area of value, so there's every possibility that price may tap into the zone, which is 18476.31, then still sell off again before we now continue bullish, because the overall trend is bullish. But a good trader should be able to spot when a reversal is happening, when a reversal is in play, to be able to capitalize on that rather than just focusing on the overall trend. It's good to focus on the overall trend, because like we already know, the trend is your friend. But to be able to make enough money in this market, you should also be able to spot possible reversals. And looking at the monthly time frame, last month closed with a solid bearish engulfing candle. So I'll be expecting some kind of a pullback, at least until we come into these areas here. Let me map those areas out. At least around here, to create a higher low before we continue upward to create new higher highs. So that's what I would naturally like to see. Meanwhile, let's go back to the monthly time frame and make this visible on the lower time frames. All right, so I'll go back to the weekly time frame. So yep, I'd have loved to see price come into this region before we continue bullish, because we are drawing inspiration from what happened last month. So I would have loved to see price tap into this between 16,729 and 16,383 before we continue higher, before I can trust this bullish push to the upside. So if we continue bullish, my target is this obvious high that we can see right now, which is 18476. So let me go to the daily time frame. Sorry, let me make this visible on the lower time frames. Okay. So on the daily time frame, we just created a high, a higher low, a higher high. So yeah, price may be aiming for this zone here before we see maybe any pullback into these areas here. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, now that we are seeing a stall around here, because as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3. Let me zoom in properly so that we can see clearly. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles moving sideways. So that is an indication of weakness. So price may decide to drop, price may decide to drop. And when that happens, this area should be the next target. This areas here that has been tested multiple times. Now, all you need to do is to create a zone, either a support or demand level around that area. Oh, what did I just do? Okay. So create a demand or a support area around that level. So let me modify this. Yep. So something like a pullback into here. Then before we trade into these obvious highs here, then before we may now start seeing any form of bearish push. So now that is number one. That's my something like this. That's my bearish scenario. So how about if price continues bullish? Because I like to think in probabilities, so why X may happen, Y may also happen. So you need to be prepared. And that is how I actually approach the market. So if we continue bullish without this pullback, which is what I would have loved to see, so that we can buy at a lower point and maximize profit to the highs here, then I would like to put a trend line here. All right. So if price is committed to pushing higher without this pullback, then I would like to see price take out this trend line. All right. So if we now go to a much lower time frame, you can look for zones, micro zones within price. Just look for obvious swing points. All right. First of all, you see the way I trade is, first of all, I want to generate a bias. Between this time and this time, what should I be looking for? Obviously, we should be looking for buys. All right. Now, shorter play buys, longer play, I'm still expecting the price is going to eventually fall at some point, but not significantly. It's just a mere pullback. And that was what we looked at when we looked at the monthly time frame. All right. So now, if price fails to continue pushing back downward on this 4-hour time frame, usually what I like to do is to look for micro zones like this. All right. We already have this trend line. So that trend line is not enough because trend lines can be vague. You use it alone. So we want to add more confluence. So I'll just look for micro zones within price and also create an area around that zone like this. This is just to protect me from getting into early and stuff like that. So my preferred play would be for price to pull back into here before we go up. But if price continues with this momentum and breaks above this trend line and above these micro zones that we can obviously see here, one thing I know for a fact that if price continues higher and breaks above this zone, it has to stall for a bit. I mean, the bullish impulsive move is too much. So it has to stall after breaking above here to pull back into this region before making its way to the top side here. So what will I do? If price fails to pull back into here before we go up and price rather breaks above here, I will be expecting a pullback into this region. And that region is between 18227.71 and 18174. So I'll be expecting for price to do something like this if it continues higher without pulling back. So break above, then give this zone a retest. Now, when price is approaching this retest on the 4-hour time frame, I will now switch to the 15 minutes time frame and look for price action. Look for my confirmation to trade to my original target. Now, if I switch over to that lower time frame, it's going to give me a wider room to capitalize on, So yes, on this 4-hour time frame, the distance between here and here looks small. But if you go to the 15 minutes time frame, is a lot wider. All right. It's a lot wider. If you look at it. So that is why when I do my analysis on the higher time frame, I like to catch an entry on the 15 minutes or 30 minutes time frame. So now that we've jumped to the 15 minutes time frame, you can see how wide that zone is. All right. So for now, I am bullish until price comes into any of the region here, which is 18476. All right. But at some points during the month, I'm still expecting price to fall. And my single reason why I'm expecting that is the price action that happened last month, this solid bearish engulfing candle. Now, I'm not saying price is going to go down. Definitely not. I mean, obviously, price is in a bullish trend, but it's looking like price just wants to go for a pullback. So at some point, I won't be surprised if I see price pull back into this area here before we now continue bullish. You know, that has happened previously. If you can see, price has been bullish from this zone, pull back, bullish, pull back, bullish. Then I think price will most likely pull back into here before we continue bullish. You know, but when we go to a much lower time frame, how can we capitalize on this present bullish price action that is actually happening in the market? Then I would like to see price come into the zone before I buy, or break above here, retest before I buy. You get. So I have a long-term play and a short-term play. I don't know if that is clear. The session is recorded anyway, so you can always come back and revisit this analysis and maybe plot it on your chart if need be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So anyone else, is there anything you are looking at? All you need to do is just unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, so I would like us to look at AUD USD.
AUD USD.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, FXCM. Okay, yeah. This is AUD USD. So you have anything you're looking at, or you just want me to analyze what I think may most likely happen? So okay, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
I'm currently looking at, I'm currently looking to sell, but I would like to get your own side of view from the market in detail.
Okay. So if you may have noticed, you noticed that I stopped analyzing AUD USD for quite some time now, because I usually like to go for pairs that is giving me a very, very clear and obvious direction. Now, AUD USD has not been doing that. Price has been swinging both ways. Now, we're on the monthly time frame, and you can clearly see that if I zoom in current price action, price is kind of bouncing off, bouncing down. My preferred target previously was, first of all, here, and then this lowest point here on the monthly time frame. The price is struggling to go there. Maybe in the future it's going to come there. I don't know, but we are looking for trades today or tomorrow or the next 1 week. So we can't wait for a whole month or 2 months or 3 months for price to play out right. So now I notice that price is ranging seriously on AUD USD on even on the monthly time frame. So looking at AUD USD, from this monthly time frame perspective, price has been bouncing off this zone, which is 0.63287 area. And price is pushing upward again. As a matter of fact, I'm also bearish minded on AUD USD. But with this bullish momentum, let's narrow things down. Let's go to the weekly time frame. And first of all, I want to look at current market structure. All right. Yeah, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low. So price is basically ranging. So let's focus on more recent price action. Now from this point, price created a low, a lower high, a lower low. Now we are back here. Now, if you look at this region, if you look at this region and look backwards, it's more like a support and resistance level. No wonder we are seeing bearish price action so far this week because we're on the weekly time frame. So no wonder we are seeing bearish price action. So this area, if I even put a tiny line there, you can see price has bounced off those areas previously. And now price has also bounced off that area around here. And now price is back there. But we may not be able to see things clearly on this particular time frame. So let's go to a daily time frame. Wow. All right. So let's go to a daily time frame. Now on the daily time frame, I'm just going to delete this zone. I'll delete this zone. Let's have a clean chart. All right. So on the daily time frame, I'll focus on this obvious resistance here. So I'll create a zone around there like this. So I'll do this. Now, why is that zone an important zone? You can obviously see why. All right. Price has rejected that zone around here, rejected that zone around here, rejected that zone around here, rejected that zone around here. As a matter of fact, all this started when? Around January this year. So price has failed to break and close above this zone. So this zone is an important zone. So are we going to continue higher or we're going to continue lower? Now we have to think in probabilities at this point. All right. First of all, I'll be bearish minded as it stands. I'll only be bullish minded if price breaks above this area here. So you are completely right to be bearish minded right now. So I'll only be bullish minded if price breaks above 0.66344 area. So if a daily candlestick breaks above there, then I can now start looking for buys. All right. So this upside here. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, we can see obviously that price has rejected that zone multiple times historically. So yeah, it's very, very easy for price to just continue lower from this point. So if I am swing trading this, what I will do is this entry is even still valid. I could sell from here. I could sell from here where price is. I could sell, but my stop loss has to be above here. So that will be how many pips stop loss? Anywhere around 47 pips stop loss. That's wide. So that was why I said if you're swing trading this, of course, if I'm day trading, I don't go for any stop loss pips of more than 20 pips based on my strategy, right? At anything above 20 pips, I either use a limit order just to reduce my stop loss in pips. And fine, if price comes, taps me in, fine. And if it doesn't, well, so be it. That is the risk I'm willing to take. Anything higher than that, my trade may not play out within that day. Well, I'm okay holding trades to the next day, but not all of the time, right? I just want to limit my stop loss in pips. But if you're swing trading, this is absolutely fine. 47 pips stop loss above. And then your first target should be this obvious swing point here, which will give you a 2.9 reward for this risk here. So if you're risking $1,000 here, then you'll be making $2,900. So now when I jump into this trade, I don't mind losing the trade because that's another thing as traders we need to accept. When I get into any trade, I don't care whether it's a loser or a winner. Like I've always said, I only like to focus on what is within my control. And what is within my control is what I am willing to risk on that particular trade. As long as my analysis is telling me to do this and price has come into my preferred zone, I take action. I just make sure that I limit my risk. Give me a second. So I just make sure that I keep my risk in check. I don't want to take stupid risk, you know. So yeah, this will be the first target, which is around 0.6455. And of course, this will be the second target around here, which will give us a 4-to-1 trade. All right. And why am I doing that? It's simply because from the weekly time frame, we've seen that zone for the past couple of weeks, since January, price has not been able to break above that zone. All right. And market structure wise, again, price is obviously in a bearish market from this point to this point, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So I'll be expecting a new lower low at some point. So for this trend to change, then price has to break above this current resistance level, which means obviously we will now have a new higher high. So that would now mean that price will continue to this next highs here. So this is a combination of market structure and areas of value. So market structure wise, we are still down. We've not created any new higher highs on this weekly time frame. All right. And even on the daily time frame, we've not created any new higher highs. I mean, from this point, price came here, created equal highs, created a new lower low, went on. So I wouldn't be surprised if price falls back to this zone. So the resistance zone is quite obvious. On the 4-hour time frame, it looks like we've gotten a double top chart pattern. You know, if we go to a much lower time frame, let's go to 1 hour. Let's see if there's any change in market structure from that important zone. So as you can see, price rallied, came here, bounced off, came back here, then came to create a new lower low. I mean, before we came to this point, price was obviously in a bullish swing. Now we came to this obvious point that we narrowed down all the way from the higher time frame, and now we are beginning to see a change in market structure. So everything is beginning to align like we are in a bearish trend or we are about to go bearish, you know. So instead of being greedy on your stop loss, just make sure to be safe. Just make sure your stop loss is above that zone. So if you are wrong, at least you are at peace with yourself that you did everything right. And then if we break above there, it's fine. Take your loss. Then we can come back. We can wait for price to come back, retest that zone. Since we already established the fact that from the higher time frame, that's an important zone. So we just wait for price to retest that zone and look for buys. Put our stop loss below the zone. Then whatever it is that you may have lose, you are definitely going to get it back. So don't be scared to lose. Rather, focus on what you're willing to risk on that trade. And that's how I trade. All right. I made money yesterday. I shared when I was in the trade on the Telegram group, and I noticed that price started ranging just shortly after I sent out that stuff. I've already gotten my 2-to-1. I closed the trade. And today I am in another trade. All my rules were met. I am in another trade. I don't know if it has hit stop loss by now, but funny enough, I don't care because I made money yesterday and I am willing to take a loss. I've created that buffer for myself so I can afford to take a loss. So even if I take a loss today, I am still in profit. So losses are a part of the game. Don't dwell on that. Just have a good strategy, backtest it. As long as it has proven to be profitable, come to a real life market, execute, make sure that your risk management is on check. You don't want to be winning 4 trades and losing only 1 and blowing your account. To me, that's crazy. Because the way I trade personally, I can lose 3 trades, win only 2, and I'm still going to smile to the bank. So that is why, forgive me if I say it doesn't make sense for you to win 4 trades, lose only 1, and you are still not in profit. It's crazy. That means your risk management is complete shit. So don't be scared to take losses. So this is what I can see on AUD USD right now. So if I was trading AUD USD, to be honest, I wouldn't mind selling here. But meanwhile, before we start hitting those sell buttons, let's look at what we did last week. All right. So yeah, last week was super bullish. Well, honestly, I don't mind selling from here. Though based on my strategy, I would have loved to I probably wouldn't have even been in this trade yet. So maybe I would like to see maybe a pullback into this area. Let's say around here on this 15 minutes time frame. I'm spending time on this chart because the trade is looking kind of valid. So forgive me. So yeah, my preferred selling zone would be here, around here, which is around 0.66177. And of course, I won't be waiting for the whole move down. I will be taking profit way earlier. I'll just look for a 2-to-1 trade. All right, but I don't trade AUD USD anyway. So, well, that's my opinion. That's my view on AUD USD. I am bearish as long as we are below here and bullish when we break above that zone. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. I'm just trying to unmute everybody so that if you have a question, you can always ask. All right. So any other pair you may want me to look at?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, okay. My name is Lawrence. So I just wanted, I don't know if you can, look into Gbpjpy USD too, because I think I'm looking at for a sell too on that Gbpjpy USD. I don't know.
Okay. GBP
Well, I want to see
USD.
your analysis as something else. Was in the way you're actually making it happen is as if it's as easy as
Okay.
like that.
Trust me, it's one thing to do all this analysis. I still take losses from time to time. So that was why I made sure that I echoed that part that you should be willing to take losses, because we all don't know which trade is going to be a winner. In the forex market, we already know that there will be a mixture of winners and losers. So that is why instead of focusing on, because I started mentoring, it's not up to 2 years now. If you've been on this channel for quite some time, you will know that I started mentoring December 2022. So we are not up to like 2 years now. But within that short period of time, I've met so many people and I've seen the misconception that many traders have about trading. And to me, it is completely wrong. So no one to lose. You're definitely going to lose. Some people even pray when price is approaching their stop loss. They'll be praying in Jesus' name, price shouldn't come. Like, are you kidding me? Someone else is praying that price should go that way. So instead of getting scared that price hits, because funny enough, when I get into any trade, I always expect the worst case scenario. Not because I want to lose all my trades. No. I'm already profitable. So probably that month I'm already up 5%. So I don't even care if price comes to my stop loss. I don't care if I go on to lose the next 3 trades. So I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm not having sleepless nights over it. If I place a trade, I even go to bed. I sleep off. Fine. No nightmares, nothing. Because I've already accepted that loss before getting into the trade. And because I'm accepting the loss, that is why... So that is why I only focus on what I'm willing to risk on that trade rather than go all in. You understand? So yeah, if we come to the monthly time frame, kindly mute yourself because I think there's something, there's a noise at the background. Yeah, your end, I guess. Or is it?
My own end.
Is this? Okay. Wait. All right. Sorry, it wasn't your end.
Okay.
So let's continue. Yeah. So Gbpjpy USD price.
Why you're doing that?
What?
I wanted asking what before you analyze. Can I just ask you another question?
Okay.
I don't know before
sure.
I don't know if it is something to ask you or probably ask you privately or something. There was
Okay.
I usually visit your site time to time, kind of, because I was actually expecting to see a discount. You understand, your mentorship discount, which I haven't seen for a while. I don't know if you've done it
Yeah.
before, but I haven't seen it before. And that's one. The second one is there was a time you actually said you wanted sharing your tweets or something like that, and
Okay.
which I don't. You continued it. You only did it for once or something, once or twice. You didn't
Okay.
continue. Mm,
Okay. Why I didn't continue the signal is this. Signal, I usually don't even like giving signals. So it's just because of that constant request. So I said, okay, you know what? Those taking the mentorship, then I'm giving them the signal. So I actually wanted to make the signal public, but I started getting, when there's maybe you lose two trades back to back, I started getting some DMs and I really didn't like it. I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I should just stop this because, trading is a mental game. And I've always been vocal about the fact that you take losses from time to time, but many people don't just want to accept the fact that you're going to take losses. Okay, let me
yeah.
digress a little. Last month was my best month so far this year. Now I've been profitable for all those months, but last month was the best because I only had 2 losses. But there are times where I go on a 3 losing streak. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. As a matter of fact, there are some months where I lose more than I win. But because I always go for 2 to 1 and I always risk 1%, so even if I lose 6 trades,
You still be
if you
profitable.
take your calculator and calculate it, even if I lose 6 trades, that's -6%. And I win just 4 trades, that's +8%. Now
Yeah.
deduct the -6%. So which means I'm still up 2%.
True. True.
Now those 6 losses can come back to back. Let's say, well, it can never come back to back anyways, but let's say I may have 3 losing streaks, then 2 winning streaks. And then the next one is going to be 3 losing streaks. And then the next 2 will be 2 winning streaks. Now, how many beginner traders can sustain that 3 losing streaks? They will be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. No, how can you have 3 losing streaks? As a good trader, you shouldn't lose ever again. My goodness. So I now realized that I was like, you know what? I'll just keep this thing to myself, just trade, withdraw. I don't need this external because trading is already a mental game. So I don't want someone getting into my head. So that was why I just stopped it entirely because some people came into my DM. Why are you losing 2 back to back? You shouldn't be losing on stuffs like that. And I said, no, I don't want this. So that was why I stopped altogether. That was why I stopped. So that was the reason right there. Trading, I don't want external noise. I like to be on my own. I actually went into mentorship because it's already a boring game. So I needed people to converse with, have a conversation with, and stuffs like that. And it has really, really helped, actually. It has really, really helped. So that was why I stopped. That was the only reason why I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the discount, I don't know if it's something you do or you've not done it before. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I've done it before, but you can contact me privately, then we'll see what we can do on that.
Okay, maybe you just have to put your details up because I haven't done that before. So I don't know if we
Okay.
can as in
All
on
right, no
the
problem.
sure.
If you go to the website and you scroll down, you will see a link to WhatsApp me directly.
Okay, you directly. Okay, because I know I've seen it.
All right.
Okay.
So just click. I'll just tell my PA that because she already knows that any important messages are going to be directed to me. So you can just send a message. It's going to get to me.
Okay, no problem. I will do that.
All right, sir.
Okay.
So thank you. So let's look at the analysis. Now on Gbpjpy USD, clearly on this monthly time frame, market structure wise, we are in a downtrend. And you can notice the price pushed up here, pushed back, failed to create a new higher high. And now it looks like we are pointing downwards. However, on this monthly time frame, price has been ranging since last year. It's not quite obvious on Gbpjpy USD. If you go to Euro USD, it's quite obvious there. From this point here, which is January last year, 2023, price has basically been moving sideways. So, but Let's go to the lower time frame. But before we do that, on this monthly time frame, you can see that we close with a solid bearish candle. And if you ask me on this monthly time frame, my target is down here, 1.21279. That's my next target. Now, if we go to the weekly time frame, price clearly just created a new lower low. And it looks like price has gone back to retest the previous zone that was broken. Let me pull out. I'm sorry if you can hear the noise. There's this construction going on close to me and I'm on the balcony. So forgive me if you hear some background noise. So from here, price pushed higher, came here, created a new higher high, making us think price was going to continue higher. But price dropped back down, creating a new lower low that's obviously lower than this previous low here. Now looks like we've gone back to retest that region, and I am expecting price to continue lower to give us a new lower low. Now, this may happen, this may not happen, but I can't focus on the future. I'm focusing on what is right in front of me right now. So this is what I can see right now, and that is what I'm going to focus on. So because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, that is why we still secure losses from time to time, and we have to accept that. All right. So, but this is what I can say right now, and that is what I'm going to be analyzing based on. So that's what the weekly time frame is saying. But for us to actually confirm if price is actually going to make it to the downside, then this week has to close bearish. This week has to close with a bearish candle. So far, it looks like we are bearish so far, but this week has to close bearish for us to be like, okay, next week we are going to continue downward. As a matter of fact, last month closed bearish. Market structure wise on the weekly time frame, we are bearish. Now, if we have a weekly bearish candle, then next week we should see further decline in price. So you see, we've generated a bias. I have created a bias in my mind. This is what I want to see. Of course, I always have plan B, and that is if price continues higher and creates a new higher high. But for now, this is what I would like to see, continuous push to the downside. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, let me delete all these markings I have here. If we go to the daily time frame, let's see if we have any form of trend line zone. All right, nothing like that. So that's invalid. So if we come to this daily time frame, let's say price continues higher. Remember, we already have a bias, which is bearish. So we don't care if price is pushing higher. All right, we don't care if price is pushing higher. All we need to do is to create a zone. We have a bias. Now, this is how I trade. When I have a bias, I am bearish, but now price is going bullish. Okay, where is the next resistance zone that price will most likely come to now align with my bearish bias? So even if we continue bullish, my next resistance zone is obviously here, this major swing point here. So you see, so even if I am buying, I know I am not buying long term. I am buying into my resistance zone. Because first of all, you need to generate a bias. My bias is bearish. The price is bullish. So which means I need to look for areas where price will sell from. Because price will not just sell from anywhere. It has to come to a level, a structural level, maybe a demand zone or supply rather, or a resistance zone. Price has to come to one of those levels. So first of all, you want to generate a bias, then look for the most likely level that bias is going to happen. So now the way I'm going to look at this is either we sell from the top here, or we sell if daily price action breaks and closes below this previous resistance I had here. I had a resistance here, price broke above it. Okay, cool. I'm still bearish biased. So you have to come here, then I'll sell from here. Or now that you are showing me bearish price action, then break back, show me commitment by breaking back below my support. Because previously it was a resistance. Now it is forming, it has become a support. So break back below the support so that I'll be like, aha, I have a clear push to the downside. All right. So first of all, generate a bias, which we've done from the higher time frame. Now on the lower time frame, what areas will this sell happen from? So number one is below this zone, and number two is at this zone above. So if price continues higher, I'll be looking for sells here. If price continues lower, then I'll be looking for sells below here. Then if I want to look for maybe trend line areas, other confirmations and stuffs like that, I could now start going to the lower time frames, like the 4 hour. I'll be like, okay, you know what? Let me do this. So I can be like, okay, you know what? For me to sell, cancel this support, cancel this trend line. Then when you come back for a retest, I'll be looking for confirmation to sell to the downside. You get? Then for me to trade to this upside, because this upside is from the daily time frame. Sorry, I just refined it. You see, it's tinier now. So this tiny zone, if we go back to the 4 hour time frame, was the zone I plotted on the 4 hour time frame, on the daily time frame rather. So I could make this kind of like this. So for me to go bullish, this is me preventing myself from jumping into early and getting stopped out. So I want to enter a trade when I am in the clear, when there's less barrier in front of me. So to go bearish, then clear out this zone, clear out this trend line, then we'll go bearish. To go bullish, I can see some obvious swing points. Even if I move it further left, I can still connect these other zones here. So that's a good swing point, even here. So for me to go bullish, I could now do this, break above here. Now, when you come back for a retest, this is where I'll catch a buy trade. Even though I am bearish minded, I'll still catch a buy trade around before the fall. So it's pretty much simple. Trading is hard, but you can make it simple if you know exactly what you are looking for. All right. But the good thing about my strategy anyways is I don't even care if it breaks above or breaks below. I can still trade within here since I'm executing on a 15 minutes time frame. But I can't say it now until my criteria are met in real time. So that's how I can know, okay, this is a time to trade. This is a time not to trade. But if I want to hold for a longer play, then I want to clear all the obstacles in front of me to either sell or buy. This is just a simple way I look at the market. So are you a swing trader or a day trader?
Is it me?
Okay. Did I lost you?
Okay. Are you referring to me?
Yeah, Mr. Lawrence. Yes, you.
As it stands now, I don't even know the one I am. I'm just a newbie. I'm just a newbie.
Okay. Okay, I understand. It's completely
I've
fine.
following questions. Whenever I see them, I always listen to them. Even on Sunday on your analysis too, I joined that on the live this thing too, because I'm trying to understand how you think and do your thing too. So I'm just a newbie.
Okay. I look at the market like I always say, my strategy is definitely not the best out there. But is there any best strategy out there? No. As long as you are making money, you have a good strategy, and that's all that matters. Now, people look at the market in so many different ways. As a matter of fact, I've watched a documentary, a Wall Street documentary, where someone generated a strategy around an elephant in the desert or wherever. So, and he made money. I mean, he worked with all these brick and mortar prop firms, not these online prop firms and stuff. Generated a whole strategy around elephants, and it worked for him. So, I don't know. So there are different ways people look at the market, whether you are ICT, SMC, trendline, as long as you can make it work, which is making money, you are already a successful trader. And that's all that matters. And that's why you never see me say, hey, this strategy doesn't work or that doesn't work. But the way I look at the market, I look at it as a step. If we are going up, price has to move from $1 to $2. Price doesn't just go all the way from $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 till $20. No. Price will move from $1 to $2, $2 to $3, $3 to $4, $4 to $5, then $5 to $3, then back to $4 to $5 to $6 to $7 to $8, then back to $6, then to $10. So when this happens, then which means price moves. I look at the market like price moves in steps. So you see that we are going higher one step at a time, or going lower one step at a time. So that is why you will notice that my analysis looks like a step. I want to see a climb up. I've seen market commitment. You are ready to push up. Then I trade. Win or lose, I execute as long as my rules are met. So if we are going to drop, then step down, show me commitment, then I will believe you. Then I will jump into the trade once my rules are met. So it's all about knowing exactly what you want in the market and simplifying it to suit you. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Can you tell us one of the rules? As in, is this something you can probably share with us too? As just one of the rules. Not yeah.
This few minutes seminar or webinar cannot explain all of that. Yes, so basically I go to the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame gives me the direction of what I should be trading, where I should be trading in, and then I go to the 15 minutes time frame, wait for major pullbacks, and I execute. That's simple. But still, there are little factors that I need to explain for you to be able to understand that concept. So I generally generate my buyers from the 4-hour time frame, then I come to the 15 minutes time frame to take action. So sometimes if I don't get my action on the 15 minutes time frame, I go to the 30 minutes. So there are certain things that has to happen. If I'm not getting what I want on the 15 minutes time frame, I'll go up to 30 minutes and sometimes to 1 hour, depending on how sure, based on experience, I am on that particular trade. But basically, mostly 15 minutes, 30 minutes, I execute. And thanks to prop firms, I wasn't always like that. I was more of a swing trader before. But with prop firms, I discovered that I now gravitated towards day trading. Because prop firms before, the daily drawdown used to be equity based, not balance based. So that was why I needed to adapt. But with equity based, if there was balance based drawdown from the start, if there was that from the start, I would still be a swing trader by now. But I'm beginning to enjoy day trading anyways. So I just like to play the numbers game. If I place 10 trades, I win 5, lose 5. I'm 5% up. It's more than enough. So what do I do next? Once I make a withdrawal, I get a bigger account, then invest some of it in my own personal brokerage account. Now trade it side by side, make another withdrawal, get a bigger account, win or lose. And when I get a challenge account, what I do is I risk bigger. I usually double my risk when I am on a challenge phase. I've actually not updated that on the course, which I would do real soon, because I started that I think around January or around November, December, one of those times. So what I do is I double down when I'm in the challenge phase. So what I usually do is, if I risk 1% on a trade and I win that trade, which is 2%, I risk that whole 2% on the next trade. So if I risk that whole 2% on the next trade, that means, and I win that means I'm 6% up on my challenge phase. But if I lose it, I go back down, I reduce my risk. Though maybe that will be a separate topic. Maybe our next session next week is going to be on prop firms. So that should be a separate topic. I don't want to digress a lot because our time is far spent. So for Gbpjpy USD, this is what I'm looking at. Yes, sir.
Yes, tell me. Both. If you look at JJ for me, looking at the probability of it logging down up to 200, I'm looking at what's the hedge of it getting to that point before dropping.
Okay, Gbpjpy.
Yeah, JPY.
Okay, yeah. So actually, I am expecting price to drop, but it's not going to be easy. Price on the lower time frame is going to range. Hopefully, we close this month bearish with a bearish candlestick before we see the drop. If I come to the monthly time frame, I've not been analyzing. You see, I've not been analyzing GBPJPY for quite some time. I've not even looked at it I don't think I've looked at it throughout this year.
Yeah,
So
I realize.
I've had this zone from last year. That price is coming into this zone, and you can see that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I remember this zone. Oh man, it's been long I looked at this. I remember this zone around when I started my YouTube channel was around this zone. So I remember if you go back to my earliest videos, I have been particular that price was going to push up from here to here. And that's exactly what price just did now. This is a beauty to watch. I'm sorry I'm
teaching my tricks. But anyways, no, that is why.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm validating this. Very correct.
I remember when I started my YouTube channel, it was around August. So I've been particular that price was going to push. Thankfully, it has. So, yep, let's continue. Now, price is at that zone. I've had this zone for years. Now, price is there. So, definitely, you see if there's any manipulation right now, because while we are focusing, the price may most likely drop from here, still accept the fact that we may be wrong. You have to be humble with the market. You can't be proud. That is why I laugh when I see people come. Price will definitely do this. Is your father the owner of the market? So just calm down, humble yourself, and think in probabilities so that you can always realign yourself. You can always realign yourself should things go against you. So yeah, it's as easy as it is for price to fall. Price can still come here. So let's accept that fact. But for now, I'm expecting price to drop. But if that fails, at least I know still have another, how many pips? About 1,600 pips move to the upside. Now, that is in my back pocket if I am wrong. So I'll keep that there. But now I'm going to focus on the moment. In the moment, I'm thinking price is going to fall. Because this impulsive move from here is just too much. At some point, price has to catch his breath. This is a clear impulsive move with no significant pullback. So I'm not saying, from this zone, price is just going to go to hell. No. We're still bullish. We don't want to rule that out, but I'm expecting a pullback. Now, if we go to the weekly time frame, but for us to cement that pullback, this month has to close bearish. That's why we may range and range and range on the lower time frame, then eventually close the month with a bearish candlestick. Now, when we see that, trust me, I am more bearish than bullish. That is when my bearish is now cemented. Now, if we come to the weekly time frame, I am still bearish because on most of the other JPY pairs, last week closed with a bearish engulfing candle. It's no surprise that we are beginning to see huge candlesticks around this zone. I mean, this is a solid bearish price action right here. Just one huge bearish candlestick from one huge zone that price has tested multiple times historically. I mean, look at this significant move down from here. And now price is back there, and let's go to the daily time frame. Nothing interesting on the daily time frame, so I'll go to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, now that price is trading inside an area of value, as it stands right now, I can do this. Remember, if you want to plot a good Fibonacci retracement level, you need to, for a bearish trend, let me put it on our screen so that we don't forget. A bearish Fibonacci, bearish Fibs, bearish Fib. Let me expand this. For a bearish Fib, what's this? Okay. So for a bearish Fib, you draw your Fibonacci. I'm doing this for maybe the beginners amongst us. You draw your Fibonacci from the most recent swing high rather. High. So the most recent swing low. Yeah. So you do the opposite for
bullish Fib. That's true.
For bullish Fib. So most recent, am I saying the right thing? Yeah. Most recent swing low to the most recent swing high. Most recent swing low to the most recent swing high. Let me reduce this font so that We can see it on our screen. So this is for the bullish fib. All right, bullish fib. So bearish fib, most recent swing high to the most recent swing low. Bullish fib, most recent swing low to the most recent swing high. Forgive my most here, but sorry, most here. I meant to spell most. So yeah. Now the most recent, we are going to plot a bearish fib now. So we are going to plot from the most recent swing high to the most recent swing low. But before we do that, I use fib as a confluence. First of all, if we continue bullish, then I'd like to see price come into this. You look for swing points when plotting your zones. I'd like to see price come into this zone, something like this, before we drop off again. You know, something like this. This is what I would like to see before we drop off, either further down or wherever your profit target is. You get the point. So now that I have this zone, that is when I'll pull up my fib to look for the level that aligns with this zone. I did a video on this a few weeks ago, so you can go watch this, how this fib works and all of them. You can even see the trade I jumped into yesterday that I shared on the Telegram channel. You will notice that I used fib as a confluence there. So now you see, first of all, you don't want to plot your fib. First of all, you want to plot your level. After plotting your level, that is when you bring in the fib to look for a level on that Fibonacci retracement that aligns with your predetermined level. And that level I can see right now is 0.6 fib level. So that is the area that aligns perfectly with my predetermined zone as it stands. So now if I want to sell, I'll be looking for selling opportunities. I'm not just going to jump there or set a pending order because I said so. No, I'll look for confirmation, because for what is what, price may just continue higher. So you want to protect yourself by waiting for confirmations, whatever your confirmation may be. Let me make this line thicker so that we can see clearly and darker. All right. So it has to come into this 195.057 area. You have to be that patient. So if I were to trade Gbpjpy, I'll be looking for selling opportunities around the zone. You understand why? Number one, from the higher time frame, price is trading at a monthly resistance zone. Price significantly historically. So if I go to the monthly time frame, you'll see the zone. Let me double click on this and restrict this to the lower time frame. So yeah, on the monthly zone, this is a strong resistance level, right? It has repelled price previously, broke below it, still repelled price with downside, came back there. So there's every possibility that we are going to see bearish move. Now, if we go back to the 4-hour time frame, someone is unmuted. If you can kindly mute yourself. All right, thank you. So now within that zone, we are beginning to see a change in market structure, which is from the top here, we had this sell-off, then a pullback, which was a lower high, then a new lower low. Now I'll be expecting a lower high, then of course I'll be expecting a lower low if that happens. You understand? So market structure, a strong structural level and a zone where you are willing to sell or buy from, depending on what it is you may be looking at that particular point in time. You understand? So the weekly time frame last week was bearish. So whatever I'm saying now is just a pullback, so that later within the week, maybe from tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, we can see a bearish push to the downside. You know, so that is just how I basically look at the market. Simple, straightforward. All right.
I actually agree with you on this, because I'm actually looking at something different. I'm looking at the long, because I feel like my market has been exhausted the pullback. Then because the overall direction was long earlier, so I thought it was going to just pull back a little out and it's ready to push back up. But given your explanation just now, that's opened my mind to open my, because I think trading is just about opening your mind. You can't be rigid about what you feel.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, I thought it was going to go back to this strong resistance, this strong support,
Okay.
now
Yeah.
192,880, and then it was going to go back, up,
Okay.
because it broke out from this 192,880.
Okay.
So my thought was it was going to just come back, the retracement, and then it was going to go back up. But
You said
looking at the
192 what?
overall bias,
192 what?
192,880.
Okay, 880. Okay, you're talking about here, right?
Yeah, the earlier push up. That was a bullish drive, like a
Okay, yeah,
bullish
yeah,
ride. So my thought was that it
yeah,
was going
yeah.
to come back to that same level and then go back up
Okay,
again. Do you understand?
okay,
Like, because
okay, yeah,
it's been dancing around this 192 for a while now, for a long while,
yeah,
all through
yeah.
last month. So I thought that, okay, after he has broken out of this
So for me,
192 level, it was going to come back and then go back up again. But with your description, looking at the overall bias from the multi-time frame,
yeah,
I think you're correct to it. This guy might just come down all the way.
and it is
No,
important if you want to hold it for a longer time, except if you just want to maybe make a little bit of money, get out,
no, I want to
like
hold
I
for a
do
longer
these
time.
days.
Swing is what I
So if
want.
you want
Yes.
to, okay, if you want to swing, then make sure that you are well protected on your stop loss. So make sure that your stop loss, since we are trading inside this monthly zone, then it will be very, very cool if your stop loss is above that zone, since we are trading within the zone right now. So your stop loss should be above that zone. So if we go to the 4 hour,
For a sell, right, or buy?
yes,
sell.
sell. If you're selling, yes. So let's say you catch an entry from here, then
From
make sure that
there.
your so let's say make sure that your stop loss is above this zone. My goodness, this is a huge peep move. But of course, with proper risk management, you can calculate your stop loss in pips. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what lot size it is.
It doesn't really
Just
matter.
focus on
What I'm
your
ready to lose.
percentage risk and percentage gain. You understand? So it's better to your stop loss should be above this swing point here. So you can now, because if you're looking at pips, it can be misleading. So just focus on, this is where I want my stop loss to be. This is how much of my account I'm willing to risk. If it's 1,000, allow your calculator calculate your lot size automatically. I don't care if it's 0.01. As long as it's within my monetary value I'm willing to risk on that trade, I don't care. So I'll get in my stop loss above here. Then if you want to go for 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, you can now start doing that. But you need to look for targets. So let's go to the higher time frame and look for targets. So if I'm entering here, then my first target may be around obvious swing points like this. Like these lows here, that price has obviously repelled historically. So if you sell from here and you want to hold for a longer period of time, yeah, that's a good zone. So you can be taking partials along the way. You may not take all your profit. You can be taking partials, maximizing all the way down. That is if price is committed to going down, because we always have to think of plan B. So if all of this fails and we come back above here with an impulsive move, at least we know our next target to the upside. And how can we spot our next target? We go back to the monthly time frame. We already know that if all of this bearish move fails, then we still have another 1,600 pip moves to move to the upside that we can capitalize on. So if this fails, well, we'll recoup everything on the next trade. So it's just keeping an open mind. You're going to lose some, win some. Just be profitable on the long run. That's all that
If the market breaks at 195, it's possible it's going to go back up. Like the probability is high. If it breaks lower.
Okay, this 195. No, it has to take out this monthly zone completely. So you don't want to buy. You don't want to be buying inside a strong resistance. So it's better to just buy above the resistance entirely. So
Okay,
it's
so
not
maybe above
advisable.
198
Yeah.
or above 200.
Yeah, it's just like when they say a bridge is not good, a bridge is shaky. You are not supposed to park and relax on the bridge, right? So now you are now driving because you are towards the tail end of the bridge. You are still on the bridge. You now felt like, after all, I'm almost exiting the bridge. I can just sit here. I mean, if the bridge goes down, you go down with it. So it's better to go just cross that bridge completely. Then you can now choose to relax. So if anything goes south, the bridge is the only one. The bridge and whatever on it is the only stuff affected. So you don't want to be selling within or buying when there's an obvious danger, within an obvious danger. So you want to clear out that danger and be in the clear so that you know that, okay, even if you eventually still hit a stop loss, you want to be at peace with yourself that I did everything right. So no ill feeling. I'll take it and onto the
I like
next
your way
trade.
of trading, I'm sorry. Mm. At least your rest of mind that my analysis was correct. It was just going that way. So,
Yeah.
mm,
So because the most important thing is to be at peace with yourself. So if you lose, you want to check, did I do everything right? If the answer is yes, then just leave it. The market had to do what, because the market is always correct at the end of the day. There's nothing we can do about it.
very
So
true. Thank you
sometimes
so much, boss.
you're welcome, sir. So yep, our time is fast spent. We are 11 minutes into when we started. So maybe I'll just take one more question before we call it a day. If there's any, maybe any question, one more question. If you are not unmuted, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you from here. All right. So that is that. The recording to this session is going to be available in 2 minutes. So I'll be posting it maybe on the Telegram group or on YouTube so that others benefit from this. And like I promised last week, we're going to be doing this more often because that was the reason why I started this in the first place. I actually wanted to communicate with other traders, because this craft can be very, very boring. Let's be honest with ourselves. It can be very, very, very boring. So that was why I even started mentorship and even YouTube. YouTube first, I think someone suggested mentorship down the line. And honestly, I've not regretted any bit of it. Of course, I've made money from the mentorship. I'm not even going to lie. And I've also met great people, nice people. And we should do this more often. So let's not say, okay, now that we have some appreciable number of followers, now we start derailing. No. So last week I promised, yeah, I'm still going to skip some weeks, sometimes maybe depending on my schedule and all, but as much as possible, I'll make sure we do this more frequently. And I hope you keep supporting the channel like you have been. I'm really, really appreciative. I noticed that this year, the YouTube channel is just growing massively, and it's not by the only thing I needed to do was just to be consistent, just like the way I was consistent when I started learning Forex trading. I never paid anyone, and that's the truth. And that's why when I encourage people to buy my mentorship, I also tell them you can actually do this on your own. There are so many free resources out there that you can draw inspiration from. But the only difference is one can be fast tracked, the other one is going to take longer, because it took me 3 to 4 years to find consistency. And those 3 to 4 years were not a play, not just 2 hours in a day or 3 hours in a day. It was more like, well, not in 4 hours. It was more like sleep, wake up, eat, go back to studying and stuff like that. Like I was so invested in it, and I blew money. I was taking money from my friends then. Maybe I stumbled on this stuff on YouTube because I was also watching YouTube videos. It was not like the anointing of trading just fell on me and my eyes was opened. Definitely not. Technically, I learned from people. I read I'm sorry, everything just started, but it's all good. So that was how I learned, and I'm thankful we are here today. So for that reason, I'm going to give back really as much as possible. And once again, thanks for all your love and support. Thanks for joining today's session, and let's do this again next week. So I'll start
Thank you very much.
making maybe something like a quiz. I'll start creating something like a quiz. So I will just maybe list like 3 to 4 topics. Then when we vote on it, that is the topic we're going to talk about for that particular day. So
Amazing.
thank you
This is
very
going to
much.
help. Thank you so much, boss. We
I
appreciate
appreciate
you,
it.
Roshala. Still right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, Kate, Mrs. Kate, I'm sorry. Mrs. Kate was my first subscriber on YouTube, and I've never seen her in person ever. We met online, so please forgive me. I'll have to allow her speak. Mrs. Kate, go on and unmute yourself, ma.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Honestly,
Good
I would
afternoon,
say
ma.
that my raising up of hands, that was a mistake anyway. But since you called my name,
Okay.
I must appreciate you. I don't know if you got my private message. Please, I just want to encourage
Okay.
everyone here. You see, this guy here is one in a million. I'm telling you. But I was forced to message him that, Shola, please, I want you to personally mentor me because he is calm. I so much love his explanation. Shola, God bless you. Thank you for impacting
Thank you, ma.
into
I,
people.
I really
Thank you. God bless
appreciate
you, sir.
I appreciate, ma. Thank you.
We agree with you, man. He's a wonderful person. Thank you so much.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful
Goodbye.
trading
Bye.
week.
Just one last question,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. All right. Good,
Please,
please.
what's your personal broker or is it brokerage or what personal do you
Okay.
use?
All right. I use XNES, but I'm trying to even move away from XNES lately. I use XNES. I use FBS. Now, while I like FBS, they have good they're still okay, but I like them more because when I was swing trading back then, sometimes I usually generate my directional bias on the daily time frame. So I want to enter immediately the previous day's candles closes. So with the other brokers I was using back then, I noticed that I'll have to wait and wait and wait for that initial spread to like come back to normal before I place a trade. But when I started comparing side by, I noticed that FBS within 45 to 1 hour, the spread is at least back to something reasonable, then I can execute. So that was part of the reason why I loved FBS back then. So but for now, as Nigerians, we are in Nigeria. Personally, I would have loved to trade with Rwanda. I've tried opening an account with them. I don't want to use a VPS or maybe what do they call this thing? VPN. I don't want to use them so that I don't lose my money. But Rwanda would have been my favorite, but it's just for those in the US. It's not available to win Nigeria, unfortunately. I don't know about other African countries, but for Nigerians, it's not available to us. Rwanda is my favorite, but I can't use them because of what it is. We already know that, I believe. So, but for now, XNES is still good. FBS is still good. We just have to make do with what we have. You can also try Pepperstone or IC Markets. And if anyone have any suggestion, please feel free to add.
Okay. How about Opta FS?
Okta, I don't like Okta. I won't even lie to you. I've not tried them. I don't know why I just don't like them. Maybe I'll look into them. Maybe it's just a bias, right? Because to be honest, I've not actually looked into them. But I knew them when they first popped out, when they were doing something similar to binary option or whatever it may be. So since that time, I hated them. So I believe that hatred is what I carry till this day. So maybe except I look at them now, maybe they've rebranded and they've changed. If you're familiar with expert
So, to the
option,
person asking the question, I will not advise you to try Opta. Opta is not good. Opta is out there for commercialization and, of course, to exploit people.
Okay.
So, Opta is not good. XNES ABS is still fine.
Okay. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sola.
Thank you, ma. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a successful trading week, and let's do this again next week. Bye.
Bye, boss. Thank you.
Yeah.